I want to start out this way. How do I want to do it? I'll start with Mark. Mark, have you ever been depressed?
Yes.
You have been depressed. Okay. How about here?
I do.
You've been depressed?
Yep.
Have you ever felt lonely?
Yeah.
You felt lonely. Let me go behind you. I got a reason for this. Have you ever felt jealous?
Yes, I have.
Okay. How about right next to you? Have you ever felt anxious, like anxiety?
Oh, yeah, lots.
Lots? Okay. How about giving it next to you? Have you ever felt like you were in love?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. This is so good. Right next to you. Have you ever felt shy?
Yeah, on occasion.
On occasion. All right. Right next to you. They're like, what is he doing? What is this? Have you ever felt very happy?
Yeah.
You have. Okay. Right here. Have you ever felt very sad?
I felt all the ones you mentioned.
And then some, huh?
And then some. Yeah.
Right here. Have you ever had suicidal thoughts?
Long time ago.
You have had them?
Yes.
Okay. And let me ask Ermis, the last person. This is so, are you having fun already? You're like wondering, why is he asking us this? Have you ever felt fear?
Yes.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you ever take a gun and kill someone or kill people?
Yes.
Hold on just a minute.
Yes.
You would? Okay. How about you, Joel?
Yeah, I think
you would
so.
take a gun and go kill people?
Yeah, I think I could.
Are you that tough?
I don't think it's a tough thing.
Let me just, and this is the reason I asked this question. This week there was a shooting in Florida by a 19-year-old guy, Nicholas Cruz, and he has admitted to doing this. He took a gun, went into a school, and killed 17 people, and wounded many others, several others, and now the people are saying it's gun control. Gun control. We need gun control. And they're calling it a mental illness. We need to talk mental illness. You know, we need that. We need this. And so what I want to talk about is that it's not a mental illness problem, and it has nothing to do with guns at all. It is a spiritual problem. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spirits and principalities and wickedness and evil in high places. And giving people medication for mental illness is not going to do anything to solve that problem. If anything, it causes it to get worse, because once you take antidepressants and things like that, you lose sight of reality. You stop dealing with life. And whenever we deal with life, we become stronger, unless we overreacted to it in the wrong way. We become stronger, but the medication can cause you to stop and just go into a altered state of consciousness. And then one day, if you don't take your medication, you just go nuts, you know, because now reality is setting in and you're not strong enough to deal with that. And the reason I asked the question about jealousy, fear, suicidal thoughts, happiness, and loneliness and all that, shy, and it's the same spirit that drove that boy to do that. The same spirit that caused you to feel up or down, anxiety, suicidal thought, worried about what others think about you, afraid to speak up, or excited. That's the same spirit that caused Nicholas to go in and kill those people. He said that he said that he heard voices. They asked him, why did you do this? And he said, I heard voices told me to do it, right? And so those same voices that cause you to feel lonely, doubtful, anxiety, happy, jealousy, envy, and whatever you're going through, love. That's the same spirit. It's the same voice that talked to Nicholas, the same voice that talked to you when you feel all these different things. And you might not be aware of these voices because you have to be thinking about it first in order to feel it. But it's the same spirit. And it all comes from being in a fallen state, which is anger. It is anger. And anger is the same thing as resentment or hatred. It's the same spirit. And in the good old days when boys were boys and men were men, we knew this. We knew it was about the spirit. It's not a physical problem. And you didn't have everybody and their mama going to doctors, taking medication for so-called mental illness. That just started, I guess, over the last 60 years or so. And now everybody, their mama, they go to psychiatrists, they go to the therapists, they go to these people, and the first thing they do is drug you down because they don't understand that it's a spiritual problem. And only the Spirit of God can change that. You must turn around away from anger in order that real love come in, and that love will guide you. And God's love is not a voice that you hear. Everyone who's hear this voice, even if they say, oh, it's from God, it's the same spirit that drove Nicholas to do what he did. You know, you hear people say, the Lord told me, I heard a voice. That's Satan's voice. It's not of God. There's a difference between God's voice and Satan's voice. God's voice is a revelation. He revealed to you, Satan talked to you, pretending to be God. Even when you get angry at your fellow man, it's because you listen to what he said. Yeah, or that person looking at you the wrong way. Or that person thinking this about you, or whatever they're saying. It tells you that. Then you get angry. It's the same voice. And anyone who has anger is capable of walking in a classroom and killing up people. Because I've heard people say, oh, I would never do that. But you will. You will do it. And even worse things than that. That's why we have to get past this spirit so that we can have control of our lives. And you have the children of the lie running around saying, gun control, gun control. Even before the bodies can turn cold, they are using it to say gun control. And I'm looking at the media and others, all these fake tears, all this fake outrage. It's just ridiculous. This outrage is not going to solve the problem. It makes you overreact in the wrong way. It causes you to come up with the wrong solution to what's going on. And so I'm telling you all this because I've noticed that in the country, whenever something major happens, the media, the children of the lie, the Democrats, the rhino Republicans, the weak men and women, they get like really excited about it. They cry, they pray, they pretend to care about the children. And these same people don't care about abortion. The same ones, oh, we got to protect our children. They'll kill an unborn child before you can look around and think nothing about it. And so I want you to, whenever these things happen, be aware so that you don't get caught up and go along with it. But most importantly, I want you to get to know yourself so you can see the voice that Nicholas heard, the voices that he heard, you hear them every day. And they are controlling you until you're able to overcome them. It's the same spirit. It's no different than the drug dealer, the black-on-black crime, women beating up men. Did you know that women are so violent to men that it's like if men told the truth and reported women, they will all be in jail and then men could be free. It's crazy. So I want you to be aware of that, all right? And we're going to talk about how to overcome that voice so you don't end up killing people or beating up your wife or your husband or your children and blah, blah, blah. I've never seen such worthless parents in my whole life in today's generation. They don't even see themselves as parents. It's so crazy. And if you have heard me at all, your parents either set you up to make it or set you up to fail in life. Because as children, we watch them, how they deal with life. And whatever the parents are, that's what you become. Thank God you can overcome it. And what I've noticed is that not all, but most, I would say 99.99.9, but not all. 0.9% of adults hate their parents. And they especially hate their mothers. Because the parents are no good. And then these women having these children out of wedlock, those kids don't have a chance. The black on black crime in Chicago, they're killing each other like 90 going north. It's the same spirit that drove Nicholas to go into school and kill up people. It's the same spirit. We're driven by whichever God we serve, and all people who have anger, your father is the prince of darkness. And those who don't have it, you've been able to overcome it by God taking it away from you, then God is your God, the God of delight, the God of love. And he is not going to drive you to do crazy things. Everything you do would be with love. It would be as unto him, with respect for others. You can speak up, you can be honest, you can move forward. You're not motivated by how you feel or what you think. You're motivated by what is right. And you lose a lot of friends, but then you gather new ones. And in your lifetime, just before you die, at the age of 90, you realize you had 3 friends all your life. And that's fine. But we got to overcome this spirit. It really is about the spirit. And medication is not going to solve that. I've counseled with men and women on medication, and you can't get through to them. They're like walking dead. No logic can get through at all. And then you tell them to get off the medication for a minute, they go nuts. You know, they just go insane. One thing you got to learn to do is to overcome. And the way you overcome is dealing with situations without being angry about it. Overcome all situations with patience, endurance, deal with it. Then you become a man or a woman. But if every time you overreact, and this boy, from what I read about him and heard about him, he was adopted. You know, first of all, horrible mistake. Even though I'd rather have adoption than by a man and a woman, not you know, the gays or nothing, but it's better than nothing. But even when you adopt kids, they still long for their fathers. Their natural father. No one or nothing can take the place of that. I mentioned I was talking to my nephew, one of my nephews. I have a truckload of them, so you don't know who I'm talking about. And he's in his 20s, middle 20s now, and he was raised without his father. And I asked him, do you get sad and lonely, and do you have that void? And he's like, yes. And I told him he needs to go and forgive his father. And no one had ever told him that before. He thought that he was missing, it was there for material things or love of a woman or something else. But that emptiness you have is for the love, the yearning of your father, your natural state. And no money is going to replace that. And I really want you to pay attention to what's happening, because the children of the lie is using this situation to handicap you by giving you medication, by taking away your Second Amendment, by blaming the president. They're no good. You can't trust the children of the lie. Do you know who the children of the lie is? So this is your first time here, right?
Correct.
What's your name?
Andy.
Andy, how did you hear about us?
You were interviewed on Stephen Molyneux's show.
Oh, yeah.
And so that got me to check it out.
Right on.
Yeah.
So you don't know who the children of the lie is, right?
Not exactly.
It's the media, the liberal media, the Democratic Party, the National Organization of Women Who Hate Men, the Rhino Republicans. It's all those who are pushing the lie. It's the preachers. Because you have a lot of preachers who have gone and learned the Bible. They went to school. They paid buku money to learn the Bible, and they come preaching, but they have no courage. They don't stand as men should stand. Those are the children of the lie. That makes sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm saying pay that no attention. And please watch out for how they get you all emotional. They be like crying, save the children. There was one woman that I saw, she was like screaming at the camera, I don't want President Trump to come down here. Help us, it's his fault. And she was just like wild. I'm like, wow, how would you like to have that as your mama? Just a nutcase. Can you imagine being married to a woman like that? But it's just all emotional, it's all evil, they don't care. They're just using this situation. All right? Yes, ma'am. Thank you, buddy. Any question for me?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am.
How are they tying this to Trump? I mean, they tie everything to him, and I'm like, how do they tie everything to Trump when he's
Because
only
they
been?
hate good.
Okay.
And he represents good. He's very firm. You attack, he's going to attack back. He doesn't stop moving forward. He's not taking this stuff personally. And they hate that. They can't stop a man or a woman like that.
So everything
and so any little thing.
Okay. So they just
yeah,
blame him.
Even
hoping something will stick.
Yeah, nothing will stick. Even if President Trump had been president when baby Jessica fell in the well, they would have blamed him for it. Remember baby Jessica? Yeah, they would have blamed him for that. And that's what's going to happen with you. When you wake up, your enemies are going to come out of the woodwork to stop you. And they're going to, you know, like they're going to try to hook whatever they can up to you. All bad things, they'll blame you for it. Your family members would do it. Your so-called friends would do it. Your co-workers would do it. Anyone who hates good is going to come after you. Your kids will turn on you. Your wife will turn on you if they don't love good. And that's what they're trying to do. He has nothing to do with this at all. But they're trying to find something to stop him. The worst thing for the children of the lie is a real man. A man who loved God with all his heart, soul, and might, along with nothing else, and love his neighbor as himself. They cannot handle that. And this man happened to be white, Christian, conservative, straight man with power, and they need to take him out so they can take the country down. But if they can't take him out, they won't be able to take the country down. That's why they're trying to attach something to him. And it's going to happen to you when you wake up. Believe me, so get ready for it. If you don't want to deal with this kind of stuff, stay in your anger. Do not overcome anger. Because you think your life is rough now, it's going to get worse. But you'll get better from it. You really will. It'll strengthen you from within because you're going to have perfect love. And perfect love overcomes all things. It endures all things. It never complains about having to go through things. It always deals with evil people with love, meaning honesty, but not resenting them. It's so great. It is the best thing that can happen to you, but you got to overcome the anger. It's something that we all got to start telling people about. First of all, we need to start living that way, but then it's telling it and talking about it, be a living example of it, because otherwise it's over, because that spirit has deceived a lot of people. It's ridiculous to take medication. I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. But it's ridiculous to go to a therapist or a psychiatrist and say, oh, I'm depressed. And they say, okay, here's some medication. What is that going to do for depression? It's not even logical. I will ask for my money back. Depression has nothing to do with medication. It's not a physical thing. And if you want to overcome depression, so-called depression, what you need to do is to overcome anger. You got to forgive so that you can return to your natural self. Then you no longer have a relationship with your mental mind, this stuff that's being put in your head. You have a relationship with love from God, the natural love. But you got to drop the anger. But I really want to say that because I want you to watch what's happening. All right? They are trying to take advantage of the good folks. And they use these situations to do that with. This boy had a problem because he didn't have parents. He has a lot of anger. No one helped him along the way. He got out of control. I heard that he was on some type of medication too, right? But that's not the problem, folks. You got to get over your anger. You must forgive so that when you forgive others, God will forgive you, and he will take that spirit away from you. It's about the spirit. I was interviewed by a preacher, a nice man. He's watching now, so I have to say that. Really nice man. But he's an educated preacher, and he interviewed me the other day, and he doesn't understand that it's a spiritual warfare. He doesn't understand that it's good versus evil. And most people don't, because they have not awakened to it. They don't see it happening within themselves. They don't see that spiritual battle going on, so they think it's them, and that they have something to do with it, and you don't. So there's a time for everything, all right? I'm not saying you can't cry and all that, but just don't fall for it with the children of the lie when situations like this come. That's all. Just let them carry on. Let them have them thinking, pretend like they're making a fool of you. They won't know. And let them carry on, but don't go with their ideas. All right? There was a guy he was a secretary for the president, and then his wives, 2 ex-wives, accused him of being abusive 15 years later, right? And so this guy quit his job. He had to step down. And the president said something like, people are being accused, they're losing their jobs with no evidence or something like that. And now the children of the lie, oh, he didn't stand up for women. He didn't stand up for them. He mentioned the man, but he didn't say anything about the woman, right? When Hillary Clinton, they found out some guy that was working with her in her campaign, he was accused of something like that. And she didn't say a word about it. They all knew about it and nothing was done. It's good versus evil. Just be aware of that.